Hello guys, and this weekly update will combine two of my favorite topics. Number one, of course, the advances of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Kursk region. And we have destroyed another bridge in Kursk region across the same river, which will cause serious troubles to the logistics of the Russian army and honestly looks like a good preparation for the Kerch bridge destruction. And another good news, I know you've missed our geography lesson, so Ukrainian drones visited oil depots in Rostov that were used specifically for Russian army and set them on fire. It was a huge fire, destroying lots of oil products that Russia won't be able to use anymore. And actually, during this week, many important things happened, demonstrating the weakness of Russia and the humiliation of Putin. So let me tell you more of these events on our way to victory. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see more of the Russian regions liberated and Putin defeated in The Hague, remember to subscribe. I'm sure sometime soon we will discuss these topics here. So let's start with the destruction of the second bridge in a week and on the territory of the Russian Federation in Kursk region. Don't worry, Ukrainians are not invaders, and the only purpose why our soldiers are there to create a buffer zone and to protect Ukrainian regions from constant Russian shellings. Those days when Ukrainian armed forces control the other side of the Russian border are definitely safer and better in Ukraine. So today, because of our extremely talented pilots, and I'm sure sometime soon we will see them working on F-16s, for example, on the Kerch bridge, but today they were working in Kursk with Ukrainian aircraft and destroyed another bridge across a beautiful river Seine. This causes serious troubles to the logistics of the Russian army, and according to one of the plans shared online, it may be that the Ukrainian armed forces are surrounding a large number of Russian soldiers in Russia. Once again, we always demonstrate human and kind attitude even to our enemies. That's why the only consequence that may come for Russian soldiers or Russian territories, we will exchange them for Ukrainian lands and Ukrainian heroes. But I'm really happy about the way Kursk operation develops. I'm sure we have surprised the world, we have surprised ourselves. More than 82 settlements are under the control of the Ukrainian armed forces. We now have a military commandment office in Kursk region, which is definitely a serious trouble for Putin and his propagandists, who try to persuade the Russian population for almost a decade that Ukraine does not exist, the army is destroyed, and just the next week we will advance further inside the Russian Federation. The strategy to destroy the bridges is extremely important. Of course, everyone is waiting for the destruction of the Kerch bridge, because Crimea is Ukraine, and the day when it returns back home, believe me, will mark the end of the Kremlin's regime. I am convinced in that. Lots of political observers, both inside Ukraine and outside Ukraine, agree that with the return of the Crimea to Ukraine, the end for Putin will start. This will be a beautiful day marked with the fireworks on the Kerch bridge. It is extremely symbolic. No railroad can substitute it. This Kerch bridge is a symbol of Russia's occupation and annexation, and it will be a symbol of its collapse. So hopefully after these trainings in Kursk region, after the destruction of Russian logistics there, we will see more. Subscribe to see more of Russia liberated. I'm sure sometime soon even the Kremlin and all Putin's bunkers will be liberated from all Putins. And Russia is desperate for the soldiers to send to Kursk region and some other regions that border with Ukraine. We don't know. It's quite logical to expand the buffer zone further to Belgorod, Bryansk. As a Ukrainian, I support the safety and security of our people and our infrastructure. And they say that those people whom Russia sent to Kursk region, among them there are lots of something that can be translated as space infantry. Well, they literally do not have enough people. Putin hasn't decided yet if he is risky enough to start a mobilization, because this will definitely cause chaos and protests even in Russian population. They are not ready to take army conscripts, which are at the moment there. I mean, those young guys who go to army straight after school or elsewhere, but that might be one of bad Putin's solutions. And right now they are sending different kinds of troops to try and do something, but they continue failing. You see that this anti-terroristic operation is not working. Putin changes commanders. Putin does not provide any comments, and it's typical Russian behavior in case of a great trouble. Just remember, in Chernobyl, the collapse of the USSR, they were constantly pretending everything goes according to the plan, but the plan is of the Ukrainian armed forces, not Putin. So right now they have sent some soldiers who were serving in space troops. They do have things like that, working next to space fields. I mean, like the ones that set rockets in the sky. So they were sending these people and changing their specifications so that they can become ordinary infantry, and they give up. Adding more and more prisoners of war for the exchange, and that's good. There are hundreds of Russian prisoners of war in Sumy prisons right now. Once again, they will be treated good, very contrary to what Russians does to Ukrainian prisoners of war, but we are fighting for all the good in this world. That's why we have to demonstrate how to behave. And once again, the only purpose of the Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian people is to return our borders and to return our country back to normalcy. And of course, Putin in prison or else. And another good news, and I know many of you told me you've missed a little bit, the Ukrainian Angry Birds working on Russian military oil depots, and tonight 5 drones have visited KAVKAZ's plant in Rostov, which is not that far away from Ukraine and actually is already a war zone, and all because Putin and his population wanted war. Always think what you want. Be careful what you're wishing for. So there were serious explosions on that plant, and a huge number of depots storing oil products specifically for the Russian army were destroyed. Why am I so convinced? Because that's a military plant, plus unfortunately the majority of these regions were turned into a military platform with lots of Russian troops located there, with supplies, missile systems, warehouses, and so on. And honestly, with the advance of the Ukrainian armed forces, for example, in Kursk region, I feel more safe and confident for the Russian people than when they are under the Russian army control, because Russians do not care about human life. They demonstrate it not only in the way they treat Ukrainian civilians, Ukrainian soldiers, they demonstrate this attitude to their own soldiers. And that is awful. That is one of the reasons which proves you can never negotiate with Russia, because they don't value the things you do. Any agreement signed with Russia is not worth the paper on which it was signed. I know Washington Post, if I'm not mistaken, had an article about the potential negotiations between Ukraine and Russia in Qatar to stop destroying energy infrastructure, but it doesn't seem likely. And once again, Russia never follows any agreements. At this moment in time, neither Putin nor the people of Ukraine are interested in any kinds of negotiations, and I'm actually proud that our special military operation in Kursk changes a lot in the way people see the future peace. And no, it should not be the appeasement of the aggressor. Moreover, the Institute of War demonstrates that despite limited resources, human and military resources, Ukraine has taken over the initiative in this war, and we have demonstrated those concerned global leaders that Russia is weak, Russia is fake, it only pretends to be strong, and of course, the only way to guarantee a long time peace on the planet is to defeat Putin. I don't know how come many still doubted this thing. We may see that things are bad for Putin because of the speeches that Lukashenko started conducting. One of his first addresses after the start of the Kursk operation was like, Ukraine should start negotiations with us, let's stop quarreling. So they are forgetting these fakes about evil Ukrainians, like biolaboratories. They forget to say about this as soon as they have a trouble. It's so weird, like months ago they describe you as a criminal, as a country full of biolaboratories, and the next week after you have a successful military operation in Kursk, they start saying, oh, we should stop quarreling, we're brotherly nations. Oh my god, that makes me sick. And now he says that he has to send lots of troops to the borders of Ukraine. Well, there are no real Belarus troops, we have to be honest. The silent annexation of Belarus happened a long time ago, and in 2020 we did not, we, all collective democratic world, did not help Belarus people to stop Lukashenko's fake reign, and that was another great mistake that led to this full-scale war in Europe. But hopefully soon, with the collapse of the Putin's regime, Lukashenko will disappear in seconds. And yesterday I was laughing. I thought it was fake when I saw Kadyrov. If you know him, this is a Chechen leader. He's pathetic, and he was driving a car saying it was a present of Musk, and he put a machine gun above it, and I cannot believe it's true. If it's true, oh my god. Anyway, these are important days in the course of this war, because they have changed a lot in the way people see Ukraine, our creativity, innovation and bravery, and in the way people see Russia, its weakness, its chaos, and its pathetic dictators. Putin, Lukashenko, Kadyrov, come on, do you see these people as world leaders, even evil world leaders? I don't. Follow me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. I share more of my everyday life there. Please help and support Ukrainian Skylords in our new campaign with 69 Sniffing Nephil Brigade. We are looking for more angry birds to visit more of the Russian oil refineries. Lots of vloggers were sharing the news from FSB that wants to eliminate Ukrainian vloggers collecting for FPV drones, and that makes me even more confident, and I think that will make you more eager to participate in this campaign. And please support the Ukrainian units on the front lines, Ukrainian aerial intelligence. Also, thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my sponsors and patrons of the channel. This helps a lot and inspires more of the projects to come. Check our merch shop for lots of good items, and we have a new independence collection, and I believe that lots of our t-shirts, caps and sweatshirts work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. But most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Thank you for talking to your politicians, persuading those who doubt, helping Ukrainians in your country, and fighting for freedom in different corners of the world. Slava Ukraini!